Hey, what's up, guys? MGH here. Welcome back to another transfer roundup. We've got a lot to get through today. Chelsea going insane in this transfer window. Another 3 signings done. We've got Palace signing a new player, loads of rumours and potential departures coming in from the Arsenal camp. So I thought, why not start off with that today? I'm sure a lot of you guys are Arsenal fans, seeing as I am. Basically, Partey, there are some reports now that Arsenal are willing to actually put in a bid. Now, as we know, Arsenal have been very slow to just do what they need to do, and that is to pay his release clause, which is 50-ish million euros. I don't know if it's 50 million on the dot, but Arsenal have basically decided not to pay that, and they still are not willing to pay that. Apparently, the offer that will be put to Atletico Madrid will be 40 million euros with 10 million euros in add-ons. Now, let's do the math, shall we? 40 plus 10 equals 50, which is his release clause. So it must be a case of either the release clause is actually a little bit more than 50, which I don't think that's true. I think this is performance-based add-ons. So they're willing to pay 40 million, and then bits of that 10 million will be chunked up into, you know, how many clean sheets he gets, how many appearances he gets, if we win a trophy, things like that. So it won't be the full 50. But I've got to say, for a player of his quality, why are we worried about, let's say, 5 million? Just do it. Just get it done. I can't believe that we're going to potentially miss out on Partey over a couple of million. So I really hope this report is true and that we are actually trying to make some offers now. Who knows what's going to happen? It's Arsenal we're talking about. We're not moving as quickly as other London clubs, Chelsea. But anyway, let's move on to Aouar, if I'm saying his name correctly. This guy, he is silky smooth. I think he would genuinely be one of the best midfielders for most teams in the next few years. He might be one of the best midfielders in the future. I really, really like him. Now, according to reports, Arteta and his staff and the board, Edu, absolutely in love with Aouar is the reported quote. They love him. They really, really would love to have him at Arsenal, whether or not this would be with Partey, and maybe we're looking at trying to shift on a couple of other midfielders. I'll talk about that in a moment, but imagine the scenes if we brought in Aouar and Partey. Can you imagine those two in midfield? Yeah, this is going to be a tough one, though, because reportedly it would be well over 60 million euros to sign Aouar. So that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and that money we don't have unless we sell players. And the other midfielder, of course, that we're still being linked with, he was on loan with us last season. That is, of course, Dani Ceballos. Arteta wants him. He wants Arsenal. But guess what? Madrid are in the middle of this. Real Madrid, of course. I mean, they've won the league. They're doing very well right now. And they do have an ageing squad and apparently some financial issues. So holding on to a player like Ceballos, maybe until very late into the window when clubs are desperate to make a last-ditch signing. Maybe they're hoping to get a little bit more money out of the deal. I have a gut feeling that we all know that Zidane isn't really a fan of Dani Ceballos. It never really worked out. I've got a feeling that's still the case. I don't think he's ever going to really get into that Madrid team, even with the ageing squad, players like Modric who could be on their way out soon-ish. I don't see it, and I think Danny knows this, and I think he is probably on the phone to Arteta a lot, like, come on, come and get me, but Arteta just can't get all three. I don't think we'll be able to get Ceballos permanently. I think, if anything, it would be another loan with maybe an option or obligation to buy at the end of the season. But we'd be talking probably 30 million, almost 40 million for Ceballos, plus the loan fee. I think we're better off going for Partey and maybe Aouar. I don't know. Who would you guys want as Arsenal fans or even non-Arsenal fans? If you had a choice of these three, let's say you get Partey, but then you have to choose between Aouar and Ceballos. Who do you go for? Really tough one for me because Ceballos was fantastic for us towards the end of the season. But I've got to say, I think Aouar might just be slightly ahead, especially how far he can go, how far he can take his game. So I have a feeling that maybe Aouar would actually be the better choice, but he would, of course, be a lot more money. There were reports that we made an offer originally for Aouar, which was Guendouzi plus cash, but apparently they were not interested, so I don't see that happening. And talking of Guendouzi, where has the kid been since that Brighton game? Hasn't been featuring for Arsenal, hasn't even been in matchday squads. And apparently he is still going to be here next season as of right now. I don't think there are any suitors. No one wants him. No one wants to touch him. He's got some attitude problems. And I believe Arteta said in his little press conference yesterday that Guendouzi is like everyone else at the club. Everyone starts from zero at the beginning of the season. Everyone has a chance to start again. And hopefully Guendouzi will shape up his act, because we can't have a player like that if reports are true. The things he was saying in that Brighton match, terrible. So I hope that it's not true. And if it is true, that he's improving, because he no doubt has quality. So I have a feeling that maybe Guendouzi will be with us next season and he'll have to work his way back into the squad. Anyway, let's move on to a confirmed deal, a departure from Arsenal. Don't worry, we'll talk about other players soon. But Greenwood, no, not the Greenwood you're thinking of. One of our youngsters, Greenwood, has made a move to Leeds permanently. This guy has some incredible stats. It's a shame. It looks like we've let go of one of our brighter young players, but we have so many in his position, a more of an attacking position. I feel like maybe this is the right thing to do, so we can use other talents that we've got that maybe are slightly ahead of him. John Jules, for example, and Nketiah's come through. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting one to see how Greenwood gets on. Hopefully this isn't another Gnabry or René Adelaide. You know, when you let go of a player you think might not make it, and then they go on and do great things. But best of luck to him. Maitland-Niles, another departure that has been on the cards for a week or so now, and it looks like it's fallen through and he's staying. I've got a feeling, and especially because we saw him play against MK Dons, and I'm sure we're going to see him on Saturday, tomorrow, against Liverpool, that he feels like he can get into this team in a position that he wants to play in. And Arteta has obviously said many times he doesn't want him to go. So, of course, could still happen. And then the last bit of Arsenal news we've got here, Torreira. Now, I think there's some truth to this. Fiorentina apparently are the only team right now showing major interest. And apparently they've made an offer of £8.5 million on loan as a loan fee, and then an obligation to buy at the end of the season of 18 million. So we wouldn't be quite getting enough money, I would say. So I'm guessing this will definitely be turned down, and maybe we'll go back to them and say, look, we want this and this, whatever. But it looks like Torreira could potentially be on his way, and it makes sense if we are looking to bring in Partey and then Aouar or Ceballos. I think Torreira, unfortunately, it hasn't worked out. He looked so promising. I have a feeling that maybe Emery ruined him a little bit, playing him at cam, for example, behind the striker. It was so frustrating, and it feels like Arteta doesn't back him. And I don't mean back him as in as a man and saying he's a good player and he's a nice person, but he doesn't seem to trust him as much as Granit Xhaka or Ceballos at the end of the last season, or even Willock, who could be potentially featuring tomorrow instead of someone like Torreira. Even El Neni is apparently going to be staying and probably fighting for a position, and I think even he's ahead of Torreira at this point, according to Arteta, who of course played with what's his name? I just said his name. El Neni. Honestly, sometimes when I'm recording, words just leave my brain. It's well annoying. But anyway, let's move on to Chelsea, shall we? Oh my God, get ready for this. Okay, so Chilwell confirmed. New left back for Chelsea, or left wing back, depending on what formation they play. £45 million from Leicester. I've got to say, it's a lot of money. I don't think Chilwell is at that level just yet, but I think he will get to that level. He is certainly a good player. £45 million, though, it's a lot of money, but English, homegrown, Chelsea need more players that I guess, well, no, I don't think so. Maybe they used to need that. But Chilwell certainly brings a lot of qualities off the pitch as well in terms of those stats. You know, clubs need to have a certain amount of English players and homegrown talents and stuff like that. But Chelsea were not done there. Thiago Silva, free agent, has now signed a 12-month deal with an optional extra year for Chelsea. I'm sure his wages are astronomical, but it's a fantastic signing. I mean, it's Thiago Silva, arguably one of the best centre-backs of our generation in the last decade. 2 decades almost. He has been a superb player. Will he do well at Chelsea? How's he going to get on in the Premier League? He's definitely lost a bit of pace over the years, but with pace that he's lost, he's gained up there experience, and he will certainly improve them. But they weren't done there. A third signing, another free agent, and another defender. We've got Malang Sarr free agent, but obviously it comes with a big sign-on fee, and I'm sure that it was probably upwards of £5 to £10 million just to sign him on, and plus the agent fee. Now, I've already mentioned this deal. It's confirmed now, but I'm pretty sure he is going to be loaned out to a Bundesliga club. It's what Chelsea do. I like Malang Sarr. I'm a bit of a fan of him because of career mode. I haven't really seen him play in person too much, so who knows how he's going to get on at Chelsea in the future or his next club. But it's a bit of an odd one that he managed to become a free agent. Why wasn't anyone at Nice trying to... Well, maybe they were trying to sign him on. He just didn't want to sign it. But moving on to the last confirmed deal today, we've got Palace signing Eberechi Eze. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly. Young player, looks like a very talented player, and £16 million was enough to sign him. And I like this deal. I really do, because he could have gone to... I think he was linked with Tottenham for a little bit. He could have gone to a bigger club than Palace, but he's going to get game time there. The only thing is, he can play on that left side, and Zaha kind of owns that position. So what's going to happen with Zaha? Could we be seeing him moving to an Everton? He's been linked with them for a while. Reports that Dortmund were interested in Zaha, and of course the mighty Arsenal were looking at him as well, so who knows what's going to happen with him. But Eze going to Palace for £16 million, it's a big move. He's a baller. He looks like he could be a very good player. But that rounds up the transfer roundup. I hope you enjoy these videos, guys. It's really good fun to talk football. I'm getting a lot of questions about career mode and whether or not I'm going to be doing any. I don't know. Right now, actually yesterday, it is 5 weeks until FIFA 21 comes out in early access. So I think the odds are, if I do a career mode, it would be maybe a Super League career mode for one season or something like that. I don't think there's really enough time or enough motivation from my end to really get going in another 3-4 season career mode. So I don't know. Right now, I'm really enjoying making these. And of course, I'm streaming over on Twitch, lots of other games. I'm about to get Project Cars 3, and I'll be using my racing sim as soon as it's finished. I'm waiting for one more thing. So make sure you follow me on Twitch. Subscribe here for more football news. Of course, keeping a track on the Messi deal as well. And I will see you in the next episode.